I got a random meeting on my calendar. I feel like, and there's a bunch of them on this other lady's calendar. I hope I'm not getting fired. I will die.
It feels like just yesterday that Gen Z first stepped into the working world, brewing that first cup of morning coffee, nervously sitting through their first interviews, taking those initial steps up the corporate ladder. But before they knew it, reality hit and everything came crashing down.
Fired from my job for being sick. I got hired on March 7th. Somehow I got sick during my interview and I brought home a virus. Told them I wasn't going to be there. Finally get my training done and I'm in the classroom and I get a stomach bug. This is like a week and a half after I got over the cold. At this point, I'm pissing out my ass. So I told them I can't come to work. I'm on the toilet. After the stomach bug, I caught a head cold. And these were like back to back to back. There was literally a couple of days in between each of these sicknesses. I have a head cold now and I have a fever. Can't go to work. In between all of this, me getting sick, I had 2 court hearings that I had to be there for. That should have been excused. I finally get over the head cold and I get a chest cold, which I have right now. So then on Tuesday, I called out because I had a fever. I was really sick. I get called to go to HR's office and she terminates me for my attendance.
Some people argue that Gen Z employees are often fired for showing up late, leaving early, prioritizing paychecks over company goals, and for lacking focus or commitment to their work.
Gen Z is getting fired. HR here, let's talk about it. Gen Z was set up the worst for the working world by colleges. And I personally blame colleges and partially social media and unrealistic expectations of the working world on why they're failing. Colleges have coddled students into this false sense of everyone around you wants you to succeed and everything is set up for you to grow and succeed and be better. Now, the working world is not like that. The working world is about the bottom line. And profit, for-profit, non-profit does not matter. It is about the bottom line and whether or not there's enough money to pay people and to be able to continue doing what we want to do or sell what we want to sell. 2 very different expectations, and yet they are failing and getting fired for so many things that are related to this.
While there may be some truth to these claims, others suggest that, like with millennials, an entire generation is being unfairly grouped together and criticized by those resistant to change.
Y'all, history is repeating itself and it is painfully familiar as a millennial. Recently, this video of a Gen Z recording herself getting fired went completely viral on TikTok. But the thing to pay attention to is watch how the New York Post reports on this story. There is a familiar and bigger story that's unfolding here. It wasn't that long ago that millennials were being grossly misrepresented in the media, and employers could point the finger at millennials as an entitled generation, and now they're moving on to Gen Z. Entire generations are being gaslit, and those doing the gaslighting are the ones who don't want to see things change.
Watching layoff videos reveals that layoffs aren't limited to Gen Z workers. They affect people across all age groups, often involving multiple employees at once. This suggests that Gen Z workers aren't the only ones being let go due to performance concerns.
Hey, Brittany.
Hi.
Yes, I'm so sorry. My name's Rosie. I'm just joining the call. Nice to meet you. I'm on the HR team.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Brittany.
Hi.
Thanks for meeting with me and Rosie. We have an important meeting today. We finished our evaluations of 2023 performance. This is where you have not met Cloudflare expectations for performance. We've decided to part ways with you.
Yeah, I'm gonna stop you right there.
Sure.
So I started August 25th. I've been on a 3-month ramp, and then it was 3 weeks of December, and then a week of Christmas, and then here we are. I have had the highest activity amongst my team. Since I started, I have had 3 contracts out, done a really great job managing my deals up until the very end that decided not to close last minute. So I don't think that makes a lot of sense for me in my Cloudflare journey here so far. Also, every single one-on-one I've had with my manager, every conversation I've had with him, he has been giving me nothing but I am doing a great job. I have had great activity. I have really great meetings. I'm picking up the products very quickly, and things have been going really, really well. I make really great relationships with my clients. So I disagree that my performance hasn't been, I haven't met performance expectations when I certainly have, just because I haven't closed anything officially.
All of this points to a broader trend, likely driven by companies struggling in the current economy and being unable to sustain their workforce. Additionally, it could indicate that automation is on the rise, making certain positions redundant in the near future.
I am so proud of you and the work that you've done. As part of a company-wide restructure, we had to eliminate certain roles, and unfortunately, your role has been affected.
After a lot of careful consideration, your role is being eliminated.
Gen Z is entering the workforce in a challenging economic environment where nearly everything feels out of reach. Owning a home feels like a distant dream, and many struggle to pay rent. Even though salaries may have increased, the number of available jobs has declined, leaving some young people juggling 2 or 3 jobs or relying on side hustles to make ends meet. In such a volatile job market where being let go can happen in an instant, it's hard to find stable work that provides a livable wage. Faced with these conditions, many young people are focusing on creating their own opportunities and income streams to avoid being left stranded.
Why are you laughing?
No, sorry, it's
not
you're
funny.
Broke.
What?
That's like so
That's
embarrassing for
offensive.
you.
That's rude.
No, I mean, you should have told me. I didn't know you guys were this poor.
We're not poor, the market shifted.
That's really cringe. I mean, can't we just start a GoFundMe or something? Like,
That won't be
help
necessary.
you guys out. It's not a big deal. This just isn't a good look, girl. It's giving poverty, honestly.
That is very offensive. We're going
Really
to report this.
embarrassing for you. I was doing 3 people's jobs anyway. Bye.
Make sure to send your lap.
That being said, many young people nowadays are pushing boundaries in how they work and live. For those trying out traditional 9-to-5 jobs within the current system, many quickly realize they don't align with how things are run.
Gen Z getting fired is not a surprise because we genuinely want to set standards. We understand how fucked up the system is, and we want to push back against what we think is normal and what so many generations before us have accepted for a lifetime, and genuinely look at that and we're like, nah, we don't want that.
People are being fired every day, often by a simple reason that they simply weren't liked by their superiors, who seem to wait for any excuse to let them go. Take for example this guy who had been with his company for a year and was always early. One day he called an hour ahead to inform them of an accident, but he still ended up being 10 minutes late. Despite his good track record and advance notice, HR fired him on the spot.
15 minutes late. I've got it timed.
Yeah, okay, you got me timed. The thing is,
Yes.
1, okay, it's the first time I've ever been late. 2, I've been here a whole year. Right. I messaged you an hour ago saying, hey, I'm going to be late because there's traffic. There was an accident on the way here. It's not my fault there's traffic, is there?
Well, work starts at 9, so therefore you need to be here. Regardless of traffic, you should have left earlier.
But I left an hour ago.
Yeah,
I texted you at 8 in the morning saying, hey, there's traffic, I'm going to be late. I sent you a picture. I sent you a picture of the traffic. And now you're over here, saying that get out. I've been here for a year. You can't just tell me to get out. That's rude.
Of course, termination isn't always personal. Sometimes people are simply unreliable. While being late once a year shouldn't be grounds for dismissal, consistently arriving late and having a nonchalant attitude about it isn't a good look for someone trying to keep a job, and I'm sure no one would argue otherwise.
From HR, okay. No, I don't remember you, but what's going on?
We had a discussion a couple weeks ago about your absenteeism and tardiness.
Okay.
Do you know what time you have to be clocked in at work?
6 o'clock.
Yeah, 6 a.m.
Okay.
So, unfortunately, on 7/18, you clocked in at 6:12.
Wow.
We had a discussion about that.
12 minutes.
Yeah, but they're waiting on you to be there, clocked in and ready to work at 6.
Okay.
So your employment is really going to be terminated as of today, because also on 7/28 you clocked in at 6:21.
21 minutes.
Yes. That's 21 minutes of company time.
A while back, quiet quitting became a huge trend, with Gen Z embracing the idea of putting minimal effort into jobs, staying nonchalant about work, juggling side projects, and job hopping for better opportunities. It almost feels like employers are retaliating, aiming to curb Gen Z's confidence in seeking better pay, work-life balance, or growth by trying to scare them into conforming, or risk not having a job at all. A tactic which may prove to be very effective, actually.
My name's Anna Papalia. I've been an HR consultant for a long time, and I've been in recruiting for over 20 years. This is not a new phenomenon. And I have news for you. You're not hurting your employer at all. You're actually benefiting the younger, hungry people behind you.
On top of that, media is doing their own thing as well. These are the articles circulating that suggest Gen Z lacks certain technological skills. I doubt that Gen Z is genuinely lacking technological skills. It seems more likely that these articles are hyper-inflated and intended to portray the entire generation as annoying or insufferable for simply wanting to earn a living without being forced to work overtime with no benefits. The majority of people, perhaps even 99%, work primarily to make enough money to survive and lead a decent life. No one wakes up at 7 a.m. singing about how thrilled they are to go to work. I would say most individuals take jobs strictly for monetary gain and survival, and there's no shame in that. It's unrealistic for companies to expect employees to perform mundane tasks for 8 hours a day and feel excited about it each time. And while I understand they need their workers to be performing their duties well and be fairly happy while doing it, we all know this is just an act. And if the money was bad, or they would have other opportunities to have more time off or more freedom to do whatever they want, they would take it without hesitation. Countless individuals have dedicated their entire lives to hard work, only to be let go after 10 or 20 years when their roles are no longer needed. Most millennials and Gen Zs understand that the world is changing rapidly, and they recognize that relying solely on employers to care about employees' well-being is unrealistic. Ultimately, everyone is looking out for their own interests, whether they are an employee or a CEO.
His nearly 2 decades of experience should make him a relatively easy candidate for re-employment, but unfortunately he found out that the market was demanding a different type of skill set than the one he had, and one was a little bit more diverse and had some newer technologies. The issue was that his previous employer didn't care about any of that stuff. They had an old technology that they used and they were comfortable with, and as a result, he never diversified his skill set. So now he was out of date, and unfortunately what that means is that the job market has passed him by. So now he finds himself playing a pretty vicious game of catch up, and he's trying to get his resume current.
Luckily, many Gen Zs are able to find humor in all of it. Overall, no matter what path you choose, whether it's starting your own business, freelancing, or being employed, the risks are essentially the same. Nothing is ever guaranteed. Your business may fail, you might struggle to find clients as a freelancer and experience slow months, or you could be unexpectedly laid off by an employer. Although many have been conditioned for years to believe that traditional employment is the safest option, the reality is that nothing is truly secure.